Welcome into the channel, ladies and gentlemen. It isn't every day you get to unbox a new Areej Le Dore. This video will be unboxing Nepalese Patchouli, the brand new creation from Russian Adam at Areej Le Dore. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, this sold out worldwide in under 5 minutes. And I consider myself exceptionally lucky to even have the opportunity to present this to you. The big faff about this particular release is Russian Adam apparently found this incredible variety of patchouli that had oud characteristics when he ran it through a GCMS machine. And ever since he got that particular sample of patchouli oil, he hasn't gotten another sample of it, and he doesn't know if he will ever be able to make this again. Now, the reason I'm interested in this is because I absolutely love patchouli, and I will be comparing this fragrance to other extremely popular patchouli fragrances, namely Serge Lutens' Borneo 1834, Frederic Malle Monsieur, Coromandel from Chanel, and maybe some others. And the reason I'll be doing that is because I think it'll be interesting to side by side an artisanal patchouli perfume that's supposed to be a special variety of patchouli against some more, I would say, reference popular patchouli fragrances. So if you enjoy it, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and let's see what Nepalese patchouli is all about. So before we get to unboxing this beautiful, hopefully beautiful fragrance, I don't know what it smells like, here is some background information. I'm taking this from Vivace, but this is probably direct from Areej Le Dore. Nepalese patchouli is built around one of the rarest patchouli oils from the misty mountains of Nepal, a deep, mysterious, highly faceted material containing more than 100 aromatic molecules woven together in natural harmony, like forest wind moving through a hidden mountain landscape. This is not a conventional patchouli fragrance. It is a perfume composition designed to reveal the raw beauty of this exceptionally precious material: damp earth, violet shadows, roots, moss, cool florals, and a deep animalic warmth moving quietly beneath the surface. The base is one of the fragrance's most distinctive elements, a multi-layered co-tincture created through ultrasound and vacuum infusion, combining black truffles, orris root, wild Siberian deer musk, and Ethiopian civet. Made by Russian Adam, this co-tincture acts as the complete fragrance carrier, giving the composition exceptional depth, persistence, and living presence. So not only does this fragrance allegedly contain an incredible ultra-rare patchouli material, this fragrance also is using a brand new, system for carrying the fragrance. To my knowledge, I don't think this actually contains alcohol. I think the fragrance itself is actually, being thrown into the air or transported by this co-tincture sort of process. With all that being said, let's finally smell the stuff. So this is the beautiful outer box. I saw pictures of the inner box, and it's even more beautiful. Let's get this open here. Oh, wow. Okay. So here is the beautiful embroidered, I'm not sure if you can see the texture of that. It is a sort of like a fabric. The Areej Le Dore logo. And then on the back, it says more about the fragrance, more about what we already read on the website. So here it is. Let's take a look at the bottle. Wow. That is absolutely beautiful. Sort of, it kind of reminds me of like a cut whiskey glass, if you know what I mean. Let's get it out of the packaging. And I'll give you a closer look here. Then we'll read the notes on the interior. Here it is. Nepalese Patchouli. Wonderful cap. It's very, very heavy metal, and the name of the fragrance is on the top of the bottle. Wow. The liquid is exceptionally dark. On the interior of the lid, it says this. Nepalese Patchouli, Extrait de Parfum, top notes. Okay, this is where we get into some interesting stuff. Bouquet of rare and natural purple florals, namely lilac, hyacinth, and blue lotus. Heart notes: Nepalese patchouli, orris butter, touch of Egyptian violet leaf, and Russian oak moss. Base notes: ultrasound and vacuum-infused multi-layered co-tincture of, the black truffles, orris root, Siberian deer musk, and Ethiopian civet. I'm going obviously directly on skin. If you spray this on a test strip, just sell it. I mean, just sell it. Just get rid of it. Okay. I'm going to put this on my hand here. Let it sit for a couple seconds. All right, so let it sit for a couple seconds. Let's see. Okay. That smells completely different than I thought it would smell. Like, forget all of the patchouli perfumes you know. This does not smell like any of them. I can already tell you right now. The comparison, you know, I have the patchouli fragrances to compare them to, just sitting here waiting, and we'll do that later. But so immediately what hits me is what I can only describe as a bitter floral smell. But what's also interesting is you definitely get the animalics up front. Those are also bitter and sharp. In terms of what else I'm getting, I honestly am not picking up anything that I can identify as a traditional, you know, sort of patchouli smell. This doesn't smell like any sort of patchouli I've ever smelled, which is, you know, of course, what he's trying to sell, right? So I guess it better not. Actually, pretty bitter right now. I wonder if that's the violet leaf. You know what? I'm actually getting a ton of violet leaf. That is exactly what it is. I want you to imagine sort of purple, very, very slightly powdery florals, but the violet leaf with its bitter ozonic nature is really poking through in this. It kind of smells like, I mean, dare I say it, like the violet leaf in something like Portrayal Man by Amouage, Dior Fahrenheit. The patchouli is actually, it's starting to come out now. It's quite woody, I would say. It does remind me of oud. Like, it doesn't have, to my nose right now, it's not chocolatey. I wouldn't say it's particularly green in the way patchouli can be. I wouldn't say it's particularly dank either. You know, patchouli can sort of be like hippie patchouli. I wouldn't say it has any of the normally associated characteristics, at least to my nose right now. Of course, this is just initial impressions on the very opening of the perfume. So this is obviously going to be something you're going to have to sit with and understand and really try to break down. But right now, I'm getting bitter violet leaf with an ozonic sort of floral touch, and I would say the animalics right now, at least on my skin, the way I perceive this, are front and center. I definitely get that sort of deer musky texture with that sort of civet bite. And the patchouli is surprisingly behind everything else. Like, I am really trying to pick it up, but again, I'm really having a hard time identifying what I consider to be like a traditional patchouli smell. Just for comparison's sake, in the opening, I want to spray Profumum Roma Patchouli. Now, this is, in my opinion, one of the greatest patchouli fragrances ever made. It's what I would consider to be my true reference patchouli. It's a totally different fragrance, but I just want to spray this on strip just for reference. We'll do the same for all of the other patchouli fragrances I have here as well. I have Coromandel, I have Monsieur, and I have Borneo 1834 from Serge Lutens. So, let's smell Nepalese patchouli. And let's smell patchouli from Profumum Roma. Okay, so some very, very obvious differences just immediately. The Profumum Roma is way more ambery. It's way sweeter, actually. And it has all the stereotypical things I would associate with patchouli. The mustiness, the dankness, the greenness, the texture, the earthy qualities. It's chocolatey. It's rich and it's dense. Whereas Nepalese Patchouli, I mean, I'm 14 minutes into this recording. It'll probably be shorter in the real video, but I'm still getting, I mean, a shit ton of violet leaf. I'm not really, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not really getting a lot of like lilac or hyacinth or blue lotus. Now, I don't really know what these raw materials really truly smell like, but the one thing I can really identify right now is definitely the animalics and the violet leaf. The patchouli, if it is there, I would say it is way in the background. And I would also say I would be shocked if this perfume has a massive transition where suddenly this earthy patchouli emerges and it really is a patchouli perfume. Right now, I would actually say that Nepalese Patchouli is a floral animalic perfume rather than a patchouli perfume. Next up, I want to do a spray of Serge Lutens Borneo 1834. This is also one of my favorite patchouli fragrances of all time. I think it's a masterpiece. So let's just see this. This fragrance to me is sort of your quintessential chocolatey patchouli. But it is very, very unapologetically patchouli as well. It is, in my opinion, kind of a hippie patchouli. A little bit. There's definitely musty and dank, but it is very earthy and chocolatey. Not as sweet as the Parfumum Roma. And side-by-siding these two fragrances, I mean, it's really like an unbelievable contrast. Because on one hand, the Parfumum Roma and the Serge Lutens, these are traditionally made perfumes, right? They're not using this co-tincture. They're not using, obviously the same ingredients. So I'm getting a distinct difference in structure, for sure. But also a distinct difference in just the overall vibe of these fragrances. Nepalese Patchouli is actually comparatively to Borneo 1834 and to Patchouli by Parfumum Roma, very, very muted. Now, artisanal perfume, I wouldn't say, you're going to get unbelievable projection and all this sort of stuff. A lot of the artisanal fragrances I've tried, they're very, very loud, and then they sort of die down, right? Whereas traditional perfumery like this, it's going to give you more of a volume knob that sort of gradually dies down over time. There isn't like a cliff. But having smelled, in my opinion, my two reference patchouli fragrances in 1834 and Patchouli, and then smelling Nepalese Patchouli again, I'm sitting here waiting for the patchouli. I really am. And at this point in time, I would say that I'm actually a little disappointed. I really am. I knew this had massive potential to happen with Nepalese Patchouli, because artisanal fragrances, you kind of don't know what you're gonna get truthfully. You can listen to Russian Adam talk about it, and you can listen to people on the internet talk about it. But I got this fragrance very, very quickly. There were no videos. There was really no reference aside from what the brand owner was saying about it. And I don't get what he described, to be honest with you. I'm still getting a face full of violet leaf, and it's bitter. Animalic, definitely. And I would say it's woody and slightly oody in a way. There is a sharpness to this that I would identify as like a woody sharpness that I would associate to some types of oud. But patchouli, not to my nose. Okay, so for the sake of the video and experimentation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Nepalese Patchouli sit on my hand I'm going to step away for a full hour. And then I will come back and record my impressions. And the entire time I will be paying attention to any sort of transitions. All right, I am back. It's been about an hour and a half. I have the initial spray on in the dry down on this hand, and I have a fresh spray on my arm here. So I'm just going to keep it straight up with you. At no point in the wear experience of this perfume have I identified something I consider to be patchouli. Now, stay with me now. Stay with me. So, the opening, and I'm starting to understand this perfume more now. Opening is a fuck huge violet leaf. Like, it is floral and watery and ozonic and bitter. Like, it is a Fahrenheit violet leaf, a portrayal man violet leaf. That sort of thing. After, I would say, about 35 to 40 minutes, that floral top completely and utterly checks out. It's just gone. And the dry down is the most confusing part of this fragrance. Because, I mean, first of all, look at how I'm digging my nose in to smell this perfume. And it is faint, ladies and gentlemen. Faint. I think Russian Adam described this as a moderate strength fragrance when he was doing his whole marketing thing. I completely disagree. I would consider this to be, especially for an Areej Le Dore, to be a very soft fragrance. I'm talking soft. Like, this is a skin scent an hour and a half in. And the dry down, I would describe it as a faint reminder of something identifiable as chocolatey patchouli, but mostly it's this slightly sharp, woody leather thing, with maybe a little bit of those animalics still left, right? The co-tincture. Comparing it to the opening, this is probably about 30 minutes old. The violet leaf is just starting to go away. But it's still in that bitter stage. But the dry down, I mean, it's gone. It's gone. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm going to tell you something embarrassing. I took a walk to smell this perfume in an environment where I didn't spray other things, right? Walked around outside, I would say, for about 20 minutes. It's pitch black outside, by the way. It's like 9 p.m. I probably looked insane, but you know what? It was dark, so no one saw me. I was walking around, I got my arm up like this, you know? And I couldn't smell the dry down outside either. So, I don't know. I don't think I'm nose blind. I really don't. Because I smell the opening crystal clear. Crystal clear. And I would not consider this to be a nuclear fragrance under any circumstances. And as we know, Areej Le Dore, you know, this brand doesn't put a ton of ambroxan in something, or a ton of amber woods, or all this sort of stuff that would nuke your nose immediately. So I really don't think I'm going nose blind. I genuinely just think it is actually this soft, and it really is gone. Because even the new spray, I'm getting about, I would say, 4 inches of projection. And the dry down, half an inch of projection, skin scent at most. So yeah. In all honesty, these are my first impressions of Nepalese Patchouli. I can tell you with certainty, I'm going to sell this. For sure. I'm going to move this on to somebody that missed out on the release, who's perhaps an Areej Le Dore collector, and that's it. And you might say, well, that's a pretty quick decision. You know, this is only your first impressions. They're already thinking of getting rid of it. You're absolutely correct. You know, at this point in my perfume collection experience, I guess, whatever you want to call it, journey, I've smelled thousands of perfumes. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not going to keep something I have reservations of immediately. I'm not a big fan of the opening. I'm not a big fan of the dry down. And if that's the case, I would rather somebody else have it. And I really don't want to criticize this fragrance too harshly immediately, but off the top of my head, I can't think of another fragrance that has actually disappointed me as much as this. And that sounds harsh. That definitely sounds harsh. But I think it's the truth, at least in my own personal experience. I don't get disappointed like this very often. And I just expected more. I expected more from a seemingly patchouli-centric fragrance. I don't get the patchouli. I just don't. Yeah, it's not there. Okay, so to wrap this video up, I just have to give my overall impressions. I think the presentation is a complete 10 out of 10. He went as far as to include the little unnecessary details. He put the logo inside of the cap. You just don't need to do that. It's a one-off perfume, So I really applaud him for going just the full 9 yards with the presentation. I mean, it's engraved on the bottom there with a beautiful sort of star pattern. It looks like a whiskey glass. It's all cut and etched. The cap is absolutely beautiful and metal and super heavy. You could break a window with this thing. So presentation, 10 out of 10. Everything from the bottle to the box to the whole unboxing experience. I don't think anyone does it better than Russian Adam. I mean, he really has that part of the experience just nailed. In terms of the perfume itself, obviously, again, this is first impressions, but I've been wearing this perfume for the better part of 2.5 hours now, right? And I've already done a dry down and a fresh spray, which is now in the dry down, or just barely entering the dry down about an hour later or so. I have a question about this perfume. And my question is, would Nepalese Patchouli benefit from getting rid of these innovative elements such as the vacuum infusion and the ultrasound co-tincture, this new carrier that the entire perfume is based on? Would the perfume have been better off? Would the scent profile have benefited if Russian Adam just made Nepalese Patchouli like he made some of his previous creations? Now, I don't want to come off as some sort of like armchair expert. I'm not a perfumer, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a chemist or anything like that. I'm just posing the question because having experienced a lot of his previous creations, I own Ottoman Empire 3, I own Mysore and Senza, I own By the Kaaba, I've sampled 5 or 6 others, and all of his creations have a certain weight to them, a certain density, and most certainly a certain level of lasting power. You could argue that, of course, yes, this is a different type of composition and the notes are different, but I don't know, because he was really pushing that this is a patchouli fragrance, and I would not associate patchouli with being a fleeting experience, especially with my experience with other patchouli perfumes, even the lighter ones like Coromandel, where it's, very airy and Chanel-y and, oh, we got aldehydes and all this stuff, right? With Areej Le Dore, I mean, I'm coming into this fragrance going, okay, he's talking about civet and deer musk and florals and patchouli. I mean, this is going to be dark and heavy, but it's just kind of not. And I am aware that he did state this is a moderate strength fragrance. But even if it is a moderate strength fragrance, I would still expect it to have a certain level of density. And it doesn't have that either. So with all that being said, this is going to be the end of the video, guys. These have been my first impressions on the brand new Areej Le Dore release, Nepalese Patchouli. Coming out of it disappointed. I'm definitely going to move this on to somebody else. That doesn't mean it's a bad perfume. It really doesn't. Someone else is going to find appreciation out of this. And when you're talking about artisanal perfume, this shit happens. If you're a frag head, you just know some things aren't for you, and that's just the bottom line. I don't like any aquatic fragrances, period. And I know some people that love them, so it is what it is. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and Russian Adam, if you watch this video, I would love just for you to perhaps explain what this particular patchouli material is supposed to smell like, so that maybe other people can get a better idea of what they're looking for in this particular composition. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.